at the hearing here today. Neither was her attorney, and she was not made available.
In a shocking turn of events, embattled Mayor Tiffany Henyard is now at the heart of chaos and controversy, with many believing this could mark the end of her political career. Once hailed as the youngest and first female mayor of Dalton, Henyard's time in office has quickly spiraled into turmoil, plagued by growing scandals, federal investigations, mounting lawsuits, and an increasingly frustrated community. Henyard was once seen as a rising star, a beacon of hope for Dalton's struggling residents. But instead of delivering the positive change she promised, her tenure has been tainted by accusations of financial mismanagement, corruption, and neglect. From taxpayer-funded luxury trips to skipping crucial meetings during a government shutdown, her actions, or lack of, have left the community outraged. Despite the mounting pressure, Henyard seems unfazed by the consequences. As the walls close in around her, it's clear her once promising career is unraveling at a pace no one could have predicted, with the drama showing no sign of slowing down.
Challenged, the saga surrounding embattled South suburban politician Tiffany Henyard continues.
Will be on the general election ballot despite an attempt to block her candidacy by an ally.
This week, Mayor Tiffany Henyard missed 2 major meetings in a single day, including an emergency session in Thornton Township focused on the ongoing insurance crisis. Without insurance, essential services like senior transportation, food assistance, and even government building operations have come to a complete halt. The community is outraged, with one local calling Henyard's absence a slap in the face to everyone relying on these services. Trustee Chrissy Gonzalez summed it up perfectly. "We're on a toll road of chaos right now, and unfortunately the residents are the ones paying the toll." But things took an even stranger turn when Henyard claimed that credible threats were behind her no-show, citing concerns for her safety. Yet, no evidence has been provided to back up these alleged threats. Senior trustee Jason House, one of Henyard's toughest critics, wasn't buying it. He pointed out that the Board of Trustees hadn't received any information about these supposed threats and emphasized that the meeting proceeded without her because the village's business couldn't be delayed any longer. Residents in the meeting were just as skeptical. One attendee asked, "If she's so scared, why hasn't she stepped down? She's clearly not doing the job she was elected to do." Public frustration with Mayor Henyard has now reached a breaking point in Dalton, where protests erupted outside a village board meeting she chose to skip. Residents are demanding accountability, accusing her of embarrassing the village and calling for her resignation. Some even compared her leadership to a chaotic reality show, describing it more like a circus than a government. This dissatisfaction isn't limited to Dalton either. Thornton Township residents are also expressing their anger as Henyard pushes to regain a spot on the ballot for supervisor after being removed in a controversial Democratic caucus vote just last month.
Comment from Mayor Tiffany Henyard. Voters here will first head to the polls in February for the primary election, then the...
Criticism of Mayor Tiffany Henyard has reached a boiling point, with residents arguing that her repeated absences from meetings are not just a political issue, but a legal one. As both the mayor of Dalton and the supervisor of Thornton Township, Henyard is legally required to fulfill her duties. Protesters are accusing her of neglecting those responsibilities, with some even calling for her removal from office over her consistent no-shows, which they view as a dereliction of duty. The demand for accountability is only growing as frustration continues to build. Henyard's critics argue that her absence is a deliberate tactic to avoid tough questions from both trustees and the public. For instance, her failure to attend the Thornton Township emergency session left the board unable to address the ongoing insurance crisis that's affecting hundreds of residents. Trustee Chrissy Gonzalez didn't hold back, saying, "This isn't just politics anymore. This is about people's lives. We can't keep stalling while our seniors and families suffer." The frustration is tangible, and many believe Henyard's strategy of avoidance is a clear sign that she knows her days in office are quickly running out.
Manipulation. Nobody likes being manipulated, and when you get here, you know that's
Supporters of Mayor Tiffany Henyard argue that the blame for the turmoil in Dalton and Thornton Township doesn't rest solely on her shoulders. Some believe that the dysfunction is the result of long-standing political rivalries and systemic issues that existed long before Henyard took office. "This isn't just about Tiffany," said one supporter outside a recent township meeting. "This is about a broken system that needs fixing. She's not perfect, but at least she's trying." However, even some of Henyard's former allies are beginning to distance themselves, citing her growing scandals and legal troubles as too much of a distraction for the community. The controversial Democratic caucus has become a major flashpoint, with Henyard's supporters claiming they were locked out of the venue while State Senator Napoleon Harris and his allies secured a slate of candidates to replace her, including Harris himself for the supervisor role. Henyard has called the process illegal and manipulative, filing multiple lawsuits to challenge the results. Critics, however, accuse her of hypocrisy, pointing to her own alleged tactics of voter suppression and power grabs in Dalton. Many residents are questioning her outrage, pointing out the inconsistency between her actions and her claims of injustice. On the legal front, Henyard has been busy, filing lawsuits against caucus organizers, the Thornton Township Democratic Party, and even her own trustees in Dalton, accusing them of conspiring to undermine her authority. These ongoing legal battles have raised concerns about the financial burden they may impose. Many residents suspect taxpayer money is being used to fund her efforts, leading to growing demands for transparency and accountability regarding the use of public funds for legal expenses. The frustration is mounting, with many questioning whether Henyard is misusing taxpayer resources for her personal legal fights.
Hypocrisy, and it's about hypocrisy.
I really think
The allegations of financial mismanagement surrounding Mayor Tiffany Henyard go far beyond her absences. She's been under federal investigation for months, with probes into everything from unaccounted funds to lavish spending on trips and events. One of the most shocking examples is an $85,000 in concert that barely had any attendees, raising serious questions about the misuse of public money. Even more alarming, $40,000, and was spent on Amazon purchases in a single day, with no clear explanation for what was bought or why. A limited audit of Dalton's finances, conducted by former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, uncovered a jaw-dropping $365 million deficit in the village's general fund. This financial disaster has left many residents questioning how Henyard allowed the town to spiral into such dire straits while she was at the helm.
Unanimous, the objector's petition has been withdrawn.
Can't do that. Can't contest.
All the chaos surrounding her, it's no wonder that Henyard's political allies are dropping like flies. Even her own attorney, Max Solomon, recently tried to withdraw from representing her in an eviction case involving back rent on a property she allegedly abandoned. This case, which has been dragging on since September, is yet another example of the mess Henyard is tangled in. Court documents reveal that she and a co-owner owe over $133,000 and in rent and damages. While Solomon's motion to withdraw didn't specify his reasons, it's clear that trying to represent Henyard at this point is like attempting to keep a sinking ship afloat.
A little bit of both.
Wow.
Let's talk about the title of this, because it's called Supermayor, and that is what
As the primary election looms, Henyard is quickly running out of options and allies. Her main opponent, Jason House, is gaining significant momentum, positioning himself as the leader Dalton desperately needs to restore order and trust. A lifelong resident of the village, House has made ethics reform and financial transparency the pillars of his campaign. "We need someone who's going to put the people first, not their own interests," he said in a recent statement. Judging by the crowd at the last board meeting, it seems many residents are in agreement.
Some action, somebody that's actually going to do their job. How about that? Somebody that's come in, work for the people, not themselves. And
While House focuses on moving Dalton forward, Henyard seems stuck in the past, desperately clinging to power as her support continues to fade. Her repeated absences from meetings, refusal to address the insurance crisis, and ongoing legal battles have left many questioning her strategy. Is she hoping to ride out the storm and salvage her career, or is she just buying time before the inevitable? One thing is certain, The clock is ticking, and Henyard's days in office seem to be numbered.
Recognizable faces that's been on the news lately. I'm talking about the mayor of Dalton, Tiffany Henyard.
And the fan reactions to Henyard's downfall have been brutally honest. One commenter summed up the general sentiment, saying, "She had the golden opportunity to do something amazing in Dalton as a young black woman, yet she chose to throw it all away because her ego got in the way. Disgraceful." Another pointed to a recent scandal involving alleged misconduct by a trustee during a Vegas trip, suggesting, "I believe she missed those meetings because the night before, the audio and FaceTime of Trustee Holmes bragging about his shameful activities leaked. She's dodging the fallout." As the drama continues to unfold, residents are left to pick up the pieces of a government in disarray. Thornton Township's insurance crisis remains unresolved, leaving vulnerable populations without essential services. Dalton's finances are in tatters, with no clear plan to address the massive deficit. With Henyard refusing to step down, the road to recovery looks long and uncertain. However, there is hope. As one resident said during a protest, "We've been through tough times before, and we'll get through this too, but first, we need to clean house." With the primary election just weeks away, the question remains: will Tiffany Henyard finally face the consequences of her actions, or will she find a way to cling to power? Who has what it takes to lead Dalton and Thornton Township into a brighter future? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on this unfolding saga. Stay tuned, because if there's one thing we've learned about Tiffany Henyard, it's that the drama is far from over.